Alright, HadesOmega's here, and today is a hot day in August in San Jose, California, okay? So I figure I'm installing the ERT ASI BAC 4000 controller onto this bike soon. I figure it's probably a good idea to go show my bike off, okay? So I don't think HadesOmega is constantly working on his bike. I think the last time I really shot a video about this bike was when I first got it, okay? That was like, I've had this bike for more than a year now. Yeah, about a year and a half almost. So I bought this from somebody in San Francisco for $4,000, okay? This was a San Francisco bike, and the previous owner had done a bunch of stuff to it, and I kind of changed some of that stuff, and some of that stuff is still on here. So I'm not going to go over the changes all that much. I'm just going to go over what I have on the bike right now, okay? So I believe this is a 2018 Sauron Light B MX, okay? I think that's what it when it was first bought. That's where it came from, okay? So it is a obviously it came from Lunicycle because that's the only place you can get it from in North America. And this one the previous owner had installed an X controller on it, okay? So this is the MX version. The MX version doesn't come with the X controller, so they added the X controller on it. HadesOmega is a pretty big fan of the X controller, okay? Now this bike, and then I upgraded this bike to the Electric Race Technologies ASI BAC 2000 controller, okay? We'll talk about that in depth a little bit later. Some of the mods that I did on it and stuff, okay? So, and we're just going to talk about the bike in the form that it's sitting in right now, okay? This is what I use for DoorDash. So interesting thing to note, before the pandemic hit and the shelter-in-place stuff happened, I started an experiment like, can I do DoorDash on my Sauron Light B? And that's how I make a living now. Is I ride this for DoorDash. You know, I got other bikes and other cars and stuff that I could do it on, but this is the one I like to do it the most because it's the most fun. It's the most fun, and it costs the least amount of money to do it. So this is I think it's a 2018 Sauron Light B MX, okay, and it had an X controller, but now has the BAC 2000 controller. Right now it has the Supermoto wheels on it, okay? These are Supermoto wheels you can get from Lunicycle that Sauron makes, okay? And basically it's just a complete bolt-on kit from Sauron, okay? Now these are not the tires that come with the kit though. I chucked those a long time ago, man. I highly do not recommend you use the tires they give you with these. Because they are garbage, okay? They're very dangerous. They just slide whenever they want. It's like, I don't know what kind of rubber compound they use on it, but it's horrible. So what the shoes that my Light B is sporting are Michelin Pilot Street tires, okay? They're like in a moped size, okay? They're both front tires, so the rear tire has to be flipped backwards, okay? So that's why this one says front, and it's going the right way, and I think this one says front, but it's going backwards, okay? It's a great tire. I even ride with it off-road sometimes, and it even impressed me riding off-road, so I have nothing but praise for the Michelin Pilot Street tires. So the rear is a 90/80/17, okay? And the front is a 70/90/17, okay? Great tires. I even do track days with them and everything, and they grip great. It is a tubeless tire, but there's tubes inside this because you got spokes and everything. There's a little Michelin dude, and yeah. So I got these from my local motorcycle shop. They ordered them for me. Okay, so this particular Sauron Light B comes with a Rst Killer Fork. Okay, why does it look a little funky? Well, because the previous owner painted it black. They painted like pretty much everything on this bike black. I believe this is like the carbon colored Light B. A lot of the Light Bs nowadays are just black, so I haven't really seen a black edition Light B yet though. So okay, so yeah, that's a Rst Killer Fork. It probably could use a little black paint touch up. Okay, previously it was white. You can definitely tell it's white because like when the paint, where the paint is like scratched and rubbed off, it's white. Okay, so also the stanchions are damaged on it because HadesOmega was trying to do some hard enduro stuff or some, you know, Jeep trail stuff, and I dropped the bike on some rocks and it scratched the stanchion, but I haven't had any problems with it. Okay, so I probably should clean up the seals and stuff. So it is a downhill mountain bike fork, and in my opinion it's all right. Okay, the Super Moto wheels are 17s also, by the way. Okay, it's still kind of got the stock brakes on it. It has stock brake calipers, stock master cylinders and everything, but I think the front has a Shimano brake pad, and for the rears I put EBC brakes in the rear. I took this to the track recently with the BAC 2000 controller, and it rips. And what I realized is HadesOmega needs to upgrade the front brakes on this bike. When you're going faster on the track, you need to slow down faster, and I felt that, you know, even with the more powerful regen and everything, if I can stop faster, you know, I can pitch the bike in to turn faster. So one of the upgrades HadesOmega is planning on doing is probably just upgrading the pads and the rotor. Okay, I'll probably get those fancy ones with the heat sinks on it and stuff. Okay, so let's start from front to back. We'll start front to back. I know I already talked about the wheels already and the brakes. So I got the Crud XL fender here. This is a United Kingdom fender. I had to import it from United Kingdom, and there's like no really good fender for this RST fork, unfortunately. I think there's some kind of adapter that you might be able to get where you can put a high fender, but this is a kind of, it straps onto the fork here with the rubber bands or O-rings. Okay, and it's been great to me. I had to cut it in half in the back here because it was too long and it cracked right away. So you can see here, I got a bunch of zip ties here. So far, I've been riding it like that for a while now, and I've been really smashing on it, and it's been performing fine. It hasn't given me any problems after I cut it. Okay, so you got to cut it. This is a special headlight setup that the previous owner had installed on this bike. It also has turn signals here. Okay, we can fire the bike up. Okay, it has an on-off switch. I added that on the bike. Okay, this used to be my kind of EP mode or my high-low power switch, and I turned it into a light switch because for whatever reason, when I installed the BAC controller, it stopped working. So, okay, so I can turn that on and off whenever I want. I think it's a good way to save some power. You know, it's an excellent light. I think it's like a 4-inch LED. It's very similar to the upgraded one that the Unicycle sells for the Sauron, but it has a little mount here that goes around the forks. So it's just like a motorcycle. Motorcycles have these kind of mounts for it, and I think it looks great. I like it. I like it a lot. You can adjust it up and down. Okay, and it's got turn signals. So see that. The previous owner had installed a blinker relay, like in here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, there's also some in the rear since we're talking about the blinkers. They got one down there, and then there's the other one right there. Okay, I don't really use them all that often because I honestly, I don't think you can see the back very well. At night you can see them pretty well. Okay, I'll tell you that. At night I tend to use them more. In the daytime you probably can't see them too much. So they're not like dot legal or anything. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't bothered changing them or upgrading them because I like them. And if I drop the bike off-road, I don't break them. So that's one of the reasons I like to keep them on there. They're you know, they don't break so easily if you're riding off-road. Okay. It has the stock Sauron number plate, the plastic one that comes with the bike. Okay. This is my District 36 racer number, 277 Sierra. Okay. Okay, so handlebars. Let's go over to handlebars. So here we got the Wake steering stem riser. Okay, it just kind of clamps onto the stem right here and it raises it up. This is not the stock one. I never had the stock one. Okay, the bike did come with the lower one when I first got it, but I needed a taller one, and it's got some pretty wide handlebars. Okay, I actually had to cut these handlebars a little bit because they were just way too wide. I think around this size is pretty good. Okay, these are the adjustments for the RST fork. There's a compression here, and I think there's a rebound right here. Okay, don't really mess with them too often. I got a ram ball mount with a phone mount here. This is a slip grip phone mount. I use this for DoorDash, so that's, like I said, the bike is in like DoorDash mode right now. Okay, it's got the Nxt display on it here, so unfortunately you can't see it too well in the daytime, but you can kind of see it. I'll kind of give you a short tour of it. So you can put it in sport mode or eco mode. I guess you can't right now. It's set to some funky mode, but it has a speedometer, a battery gauge right here. There's a tachometer right here. You can change this data here too. There's a night mode and day mode. Okay, so you can probably see it a little bit better. Okay, there's the main menu right there. You can select different batteries and stuff and set different current limits. Here's the bike stats. So this is my bike. It has a model BAC 2000 plus, so it's a little bit more powerful than a stock BAC 2000 because of the programming. And this guy, it has an NXT firmware 2.00 RC 6.3. It's a Sauron. It's right now there's a 72 volt battery in it from Lightspeed batteries, okay, or Lightspeed bikes. This is running with the Sony VTC 6 cells. It's an awesome battery. I like it. I highly recommend it. Okay, if you're getting a BAC controller, it's really good. Only thing is, okay, sorry, I ran out of memory. So here's some stats for the battery right here. 72.3 volts minimum voltage. I don't know. Some of this stuff is kind of not right. Okay, these are the motor stats. There's nothing in there. I should check that after a ride. There's some vehicle stats. Okay, here you can adjust the power from sport and eco mode. I just keep them the same. So right now it's set to 15,000 watts, but you can put a max of 16,000 watts. That's 16 kilowatts right there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's that. There's some motor options. How much current this bad boy can put out. Right now it's set to 40% field weakening. And then there's a motor calibration dealie here. You can change the gauges or restore the settings here. Here you can adjust your brake and throttle settings. So here you can do throttle calibration. You can set the amount of regen, or you can adjust. You can tell what kind of regen you want. Like you want off throttle regen, that's when you roll off, or do you want to use a regen throttle? Yeah. Okay. So since I'm talking about the brakes, I got a regen throttle here. This is a thumb throttle it's a Bafang thumb throttle that you can. It's a second throttle you can add onto the bike, and this controls my regen. Okay, so if I want half the regen, I press it down halfway. If I want full regen, all the way. Okay, that's how it works. No regen, just let go of it. So you have any kind of regen you want. You can vary your regen all you want, and whenever you want, basically. Okay. Also, you can mix with it too. You can, if you hold this down, the throttle won't do anything. Okay. Then when you let go of it, boom, it'll take off. Okay. Okay, and then there's some ERT support. Doesn't really do anything. There's bike metrics. So the cool thing about the Nxt Display is you can adjust your wheel sizes. So your speedometer, you can calibrate your speedometer. And so I have 3 different setups that I've calibrated on this already. Okay, I just write down what wheel size. Basically every time, so we're pretty much done with that. Basically every time you change the sprocket on this guy, the speed sensor is the motor itself. Okay, it calculates how fast it's going by how fast the motor's spinning and all that stuff. And so you can adjust that with the Nxt Display. And so right now we're running, well, since we're talking about it, we're running the 48 tooth setup. Okay, so there's the Sauron comes with a 14 tooth sprocket in the front, and the Super Moto comes with the 42 tooth, but I put the 48 tooth dirt sprocket on there because I felt like I wanted more kind of takeoff. Okay. Yeah, my swing arm is all scratched. It has a 420 chain also, if you guys are wondering. You have to get like a specific chain for it to work, specific size. Okay. These are the turn signals controls. The previous owner put these. This is the left and the right here. This is the headlight switch. This is the horn. Works pretty good. Okay, and then Hades Omega favors the Spider grips. These are the Spider. I think they're like off-road grips. These are the gray ones. They're kind of like a dual compound kind of grip. These are my favorite grips. I have them on all my bikes. Okay, so Hades Omega is a big fan of Spider grips. Okay. There's one for the clutch and the throttle, and I have some donuts right here for when you're riding hard off-road. You know, your thumb, it rubs here and then you get a blister, so that's what these are for. These are some Tusk. These are Tusk Deflex handguards, okay? They're really beat up. They used to be shiny, but they're not anymore. And they've got a couple upgrades. They've got a couple things hanging off of them that are interesting. These are Mad Power folding handguard mirrors, okay? You can adjust them by turning this kind of blind spot. There's convex mirror around, and you can kind of adjust it and stuff. So you can fold them away when you don't want them. So when I'm riding off-road, I fold them away. Or if I want to be a little more aerodynamic, I fold them away. And if I'm riding on the street, I fold them out, okay? I'm pretty happy with them. They're kind of hard to see. I kind of just use it as a blind spot mirror. I'll do a head check, okay? If we're gonna change lanes, okay? So there's that. I'm still using the stock brakes and all that stuff. So, and I also have some Canyon Dancer tie downs mounted on the hand guards. I use this to tie the bike down when it's on my trailer, okay? So I don't have to use a softy tie or anything, and it works great. Okay, and these are some I think Q2 bars is what I have. Pretty good bar. These are not the stock bars, but I think it's similar to stock bars. Okay. Also, this bike has the upgraded Sauron headset bearings. Okay, it has a tapered roller bearing. So if you guys want to learn about that, I've got that on my channel. Okay. All right. What else? Okay, so so we're gonna start moving back more. So I talked about the Lightspeed battery. It's a $1,600 battery. It's 72 volts. It's 84 volts when fully charged. Okay, Lightspeed Bikes makes it. They're in, I think, New York. And yeah, if you want a nice battery, then talk to them. Okay, the battery cover has this Drock battery meter on it. I got this for like $7. Yeah, for like literally it was $7 from Banggood, but I had to wait for it from China. Okay, you can see the breaker for there's an independent breaker for the battery. It's a 200 amp breaker that sits on top of the battery. So basically, if I want to kill the power of the bike, I just boop, hit that switch. Okay, there's also the stock breaker that's still in there. Okay, it has the USB port right here. Okay, I use this for charging my phone when I do DoorDash. Works great. I have one of these cables that hooks up to my phone, and it's like magnetic. So generally, I keep it here where this clamp is that holds the Nxt display in. Okay, you could probably put it here or here, anything metal. You just hang it off there. The only thing I worry about is like I think one time I shorted out the pins by like sticking it on something. So you got to be kind of careful where you put it. Okay. So when I'm not using it, when I take my phone off and I'm not using it, I keep it like right under there. Okay. All right, so yeah, that's the battery meter. Right now it's calibrated for the Lightspeed battery, but you can still use it with the stock Sauron battery. It just won't tell you the proper state of charge, but which doesn't really matter because there's a little window here that it shows you the state of charge with the stock Sauron battery. Okay, so that's the battery. Let's talk about the controller now. We're going to move downward a little bit. This is the Electric Race Technologies BAC 2000 controller. This is the Overclocked BAC 2000 controller, okay, is what Hades Omega likes to call it. It's being pushed beyond its normal limits. Normally it runs 200 amps, but with the Electric Race Technologies programming with the Nxt Display, this guy right here. Basically, this is a little tuning computer, okay? But this can interface with this, and you can change settings in it. And you can jack up the power or lower the power, you know, do whatever you want with it. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little finicky right now. It's still work in progress, but it gets better all time, okay? So another modification to this controller is I added my own heatsink to it. I made a long freaking blog series about me making this thing. I have a lot of problems with the controller overheating all the time because it's so small. It's not really, it can't really handle like a lot of power all that reliably. So I made this heatsink and it works great, dude. It makes it so much more reliable. Okay, so I had to cut it out so this fender won't touch that, which is why I kind of like to rather have a high fender so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, it also has a custom bracket here that I made for it out of aluminum because the plastic one broke, and it also has custom mounts for the bottom bracket so it fits on the thing right here. Okay, it didn't have that before. Okay. Also, it has this little HDPE plastic cover for the bottom of it so dirt and stuff doesn't get in. Okay, there's also a secondary heatsink. Okay, I bet you guys have never seen anything funky like this before, man. HadesOmega had a lot of heatsink left, so I cut some of it and I bolted it onto the main heatsink. So I have two heats. Well, if you think about it, HadesOmega has 3 heatsinks on this bike for the controller. It's the main heatsink, the one that's actually on the controller. This second, or the heatsink, the main heatsink, as I'm gonna call it, I guess, or the controller heatsink, the main heatsink, and the secondary heatsink. Okay, primary, secondary. Okay, and the main heatsink. Okay, it's confusing. All right. So that's the setup for that BAC 2000. I'm getting ready to install the BAC 4000 on this bike. That's why I wanted to make this video, just to show you the bike, how it is right now, okay? Also, I want to mention, like, this battery, it fits really snug into the Sur-Ron. Unfortunately, it's hard. It's kind of hard to install. You really have to kind of just stuff it in there. What a lot of people do is take this tray out, and I think they take the battery wall out. I think there's some kind of stuff like walls and stuff you can take out so it slips in better. Okay, but I got it to fit pretty snugly. I had to move this this breaker so it fits in under here. Okay. All right, let's go a little lower. So there's a skid plate right here. This is the race spec Sur-Ron skid plate. Race spec Sur-Ron is based in Australia, and this is made out of HDPE, high density polyethylene. It's plastic, okay, kind of the stuff to make milk jugs out of, and it's very strong. I haven't been able to deform it. I think it does deform when it takes a hit, but it bounces back. That's the beauty of it. Plus, it's plastic. It glides over stuff instead of getting stuck, so that's a good thing. I've had problems with busting out the skid plate, especially the stock one. The stock one is not very good. Okay, so we can talk about the belt. You can't see the belt, but this also has a special belt in it. I bought it from United Kingdom. It's a Gates Power Grip GT3 belt. It's supposed to be better than a stock belt. Okay, so it's a little wider than a stock belt. Hopefully it hangs in there. I hate it. HadesOmega broke the stock belt on this bike not long ago. Okay. Since we're down here, let's talk about the foot pegs. So I think these are just some eBay foot pegs that I got. I think you can get these from Sur-Ron UK also. I painted them black. They also have the Supermoto slider. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the Supermoto stuff. This is Supermoto slider shoes right here. So I need these for the racetrack because if your bike goes down, you don't want it to damage the track, you know, and you want your bike to slide when it goes down. So that's why these are on here. Normally I wouldn't have them on there, but I left them on there from the racetrack. I would recommend you don't ride off-road with this because you might lose it. Okay, it might tear off or something. But if you're riding on a racetrack, you got to have these sliders, okay? So that's why these are here, okay? It's pretty cool. So I call it a shoe because that's kind of what it is. It's a piece of plastic but bolts to the bottom of your foot peg. Pretty nice pegs. They're wider than stock. I'm pretty happy with them. Okay, and then now here I got a foot peg support brace that I got on eBay. Basically, it's a tie bar, kind of like a strut bar on a car. It ties the one foot peg bracket to the other foot peg bracket, and it makes it stiffer and stronger. Okay, so I've heard of people breaking their foot peg bracket mounts because they're kind of weak, you know. That's why I decided to install this. So. And I like it. I feel it kind of gets in the way, sort of like rocks and stuff might hit it. I don't think it actually hit. No, it still looks good, and no rocks have hit it. It's kind of tucked up in there, so it's kind of hard for rocks to hit. It'll hit the skid plate before it hits anything else. Okay, but I like having it in there. It's kind of a pain in the ass. It kind of gets in the way sometimes, though. Okay, so this has the Fast Ace rear shock right here. Okay, that's what comes with this Sauron MX, the Light B MX. Okay. Also, this bike is plated. Okay, the previous owner plated this bike. It's plated as a moped in the state of California. Okay, like, so you can get a moped plate for your bike. Only thing is you have to have insurance and you have to ride with a motorcycle helmet, a DOT approved one. Okay. So yeah, plated, good. So this allows me I can ride in like off-road parks and stuff. It basically turns my Light B into a dual sport. Okay, that's what it is. Supermoto dual sport, yeah. All right, so let's talk about the sliders. These are for racetrack use. Generally, when I ride on the street with the Supermoto setup, I usually have these installed. Okay, it's a Hades Omega spec Supermoto slider setup. It's just a bar with holes drilled into it with skateboard wheels on it. Okay. They do work. I have tested it at the racetrack, unfortunately, and it does let your bike slide, and it protects your bike's swing arm and all that stuff. All right, some interesting info about the Supermoto sliders is that I'm using a longer rear axle, okay, longer than stock rear axle. I acquired the longer axle from there's a rear fender kit that you can buy that it's like a hugger type fender that goes back here. And it comes with a longer axle, so that's the axle that I'm using. That's the axle I use when I use the street setup, okay? Because these plates, they add a little bit of meat to this area right here, the adjuster and everything, the chain adjuster. So I need a slightly longer axle so I can fit everything in there. So okay, that's just a little bit of info in this setup. You can get a longer axle if you buy the rear hugger fender. The reason I don't use it is because these are on here. Okay, I need these for the racetrack. So, okay, so yeah, I have them for the back, and then one for the front. Okay, the front one's pretty easy to install. It has an alt thread that just goes all the way through. Okay, this one I have to actually make a plate for it. Okay. Anything else special? Okay, so I installed these not too long ago. Sauron chain guard and rear stubby fender. This Light B MX did not come with any of this stuff. The previous owner did install a kind of little stubby fender for the back though. So I decided, hey, you know, Sauron was selling this stuff and it just bolts right on. Very nice. So pretty happy with it so far. There's still the lights right here. These are the turn signals. This used to have brake lights, but it don't work anymore. So I don't know what happened to them. But the brake lights used to work on this bike, but now it doesn't. So okay, and yeah. So there's Supermoto wheels again, 17 inches, and it has these kind of reflective rim tapes because I noticed the Sauron doesn't have very good reflectors on the side of the bike. So that's something, you know. This helps you be seen at night. So right here I got this massive freaking seat cover here. It's for a much bigger bike, man, but the seat is horrendous on these Sauron Light B if you're going to be riding it for long periods of time. Like when you're doing DoorDash, okay? So I bought this Airhawk 2-seat a while ago from somebody on the bar forum. I got it for like $75. I think it's worth like $120 or something, but it works, but it feels weird. It feels like you're sitting on like a pillow or something. It's not very good for sporty riding, but it does let your booty get some more hours in the saddle, that's for sure, without it hurting. And also there is a mesh seat cover. It's a speed metal mesh seat cover. I have that under here too, and this helps also. So there's a kind of common theme here. The seat on the Sauron sucks, okay? I wish they would make a better one, man. Okay, so this is the DB Off-Road Industries rear long fender. I've got it on here still. Okay, I installed this pretty recently. It's already gotten scuffed up and stuff. It was nice and shiny before, but no longer. Let's see if it's been catching anything. Not really. I hope this flappy thing is still on here. Yeah, it looks like it's still on there, but it's cracking. HadesOmega realized he has installed it wrong, okay? Sort of, kind of, but it's on there still, okay? Alright, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That's HadesOmega's Sauron Lightbee. So right now it's set to ride at 15,000 kilowatts with 40% field weakening, okay? That's literally 15,000. That's, oh, no, that is more than double the power of the stock bike, okay? So this bike is really fast. This bike has hit a top speed of 78 miles an hour, and I'm thinking I'm going to top that when I install the BSC 4000, okay? So I can't think of anything else to talk about. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's HadesOmega's HadesOmega spec Sauron Lightbee. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys got any questions about it, put some make some comments in the comment section below. And I have like a lot of videos on this bike. I have more than 200 videos on this bike. Please check out my playlist. I got a lot of info on the stuff that I've done on this bike, and you know, just the Lightbee in general. So it's a great bike. Like I mentioned, I bought it for $4,000. I think you can still get it for around $4,000. So it is the cheapest electric dirt bike you can buy right now. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's anything cheaper than this. Okay, so let's go take a quick walk around it one more time, and that'll be the end of the video. Sitting on my Harbor Freight fancy stand. I love this stand. We can get on the throttle a little bit too. Okay, there you go. So it's that's a little demonstration with the throttle and the regen throttle right there. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys got any comments or questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, HadesOmega out.